JB 12. Was the least in the kingdom of heaven greater than John? Is John the Baptist smaller, he who is the most noble of men, smaller than the least in the kingdom of heaven? This question arises in relation to what Jesus says about John the Baptist in Matthew chapter 11, verse 11, "Truly, I say to you, among the children of women, there has not arisen any greater than John the Baptist, and yet, the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than him." What is it to be the least in the kingdom of heaven? In fact, there is a second way of looking at human beings, in the gaze of God, which obviously always concerns the question of salvation, therefore of closeness to God. A human being is in the kingdom of God, and not just at the door outside or on a path that leads to it, when he enters into an intimate, living, conscious relationship with his intelligence, with the Trinity. He reciprocally love him with a love of charity. We can say that entering the kingdom of heaven is the act of exercising this charity. Charity is a theological virtue. It means that it is given by God, and for it to exist, since it is a love of friendship with God, it is necessary for God to elevate the soul, by an organism spiritual that is called sanctifying grace, and that in addition it attracts the soul to Him. This sanctifying grace makes it possible to love God, the very great, much greater than the man, like a friend. But one cannot love someone like a friend if he is not, somewhere, equal to himself, at least in law. So God raises man, He lowers Himself to the level of man, and friendship becomes possible. There, we are part of the kingdom of God, which Saint Teresa of Avila will call the inner castle, and what our Catholic dogmas call salvation. Every man who enters into charity enters salvation. Of course, to enter it, you must first have faith. Because if you do not know and you do not trust your friend's heart, you cannot have a friendship with him. So what Jesus means is that if we consider here now, after the coming of Christ, where the possibility of entering this kingdom of heaven is given on earth, then to enter into this life of charity, if we consider a very small catechism child who has just heard that Jesus is God come to earth, and what He did, that He died for us. He does not know much, but he prays a little bit, a little like Francisco Marto, the child of Fatima. Well, this little child is bigger than John the Baptist. He knows 1,000 times more than Jean-Baptiste knew. In fact, John the Baptist died before hearing the preaching of Christ. He showed Christ but did not know what his message would be. He was not like the Virgin Mary, filled from the moment of conception with the original grace of the life of the Trinity, which made her known from within, according to the merits of Christ who would die on the cross later, who made him know from within this Trinity. John the Baptist, he speaks as a man with the Old Testament, with his natural meditation. He is a child of women from the point of view of salvation and not a member of the kingdom of God. He is in preparation, in the way that leads to salvation, and not yet in salvation. So be careful. I speak of John the Baptist at this time, since he died before Jesus died on the cross. Now obviously, the greatest of women's children, when he died, beheaded, some time later, and came out of his body with his soul, he met the angels, servants of the Lord, who were there, and also Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, who explained to him what the message of the Messiah would be. He understood instantly. He immediately entered the kingdom of heaven. He became a member of charity. He became at that time, because of his great humility, his great thirst for God, one of the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. He is now one of the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, of course. And so, you have to confide in him, you have to pray to him. He is, with Saint Joseph, one of the greatest saints. Obviously the Queen is the Virgin Mary because she never sinned.